Welcome gamers to episode 1 of this Let's Play series of playing Star Dynasties with the Bloodline DLC on board. We're playing as House Tacticus. We're sort of nestled between two fairly large empires, the Ballard Quadrant and the Hickman Union back in through here. The others won't really have any real bearing. They have to go through the others to get to us, but this is where most of the action is going to take place. Now we do know of a little outcrop on the Bullock planets back out this way. So what is going on? Let's have a bit of a look, first of all, at threats. So if we have a quick look and see, is there anything we have to patch up militarily to stop any attacks? Now, we've got a line through here between Alnair and Aquari. Now, we've got a baron or baroness in charge of Aquari. We have a baron in charge of Shurtan. And so we also then have access points into there. And similarly, we're in control of Capella. And we do actually have an access point straight from Haldus, which is the house, the capital system of the Hickman Union itself. So this could be overall dangerous. Let's have a look and see. So we'll click on the combat prediction, and as long as we see greens on these border areas, we're okay. So that's sort of showing us that the chance of victory is good. Back into here, it's great, and it's great there. So it's not fantastic here. This could be improved slightly. Our chance of victory if we attack down through here is terrible. So we don't actually really have any real option to attack that way. And similarly, terrible and terrible there. So we can't really attack, and they can't really attack at this point. But we'll have to sort of monitor what's going on there. Let's have a look and see if there's what people actually think of us. So if we just go back across into here and go to relationships. Okay, so we do actually have not too many enemies. It's like the admirers are going to be our mother, and what have we got through here? It's our daughter, age 27. So the people you'd expect to be on side are on side. We do actually have, when we set this one up last time, we were intelligent, so we have sort of overall good stats. We're tribal, which means that we sort of do try to keep everything family oriented, and we're cruel. And this is, I guess, the big negative for us, is that we do have a problem. Like anyone that's kind will not like dealing with us, and basically we have a negative 7 opinion from non-cruel characters. So if we come across kind characters, that's going to be the worst type for us, and vice versa. We won't get on well with them. So we're a bit of a despotic ruler, I would guess, just based on what we sort of see through here. An evil genius. We have very, very good administration skills, and we've got to boost these up. Essentially, we've got to boost the family structures up. If we go into the family structures, you'll see the 58 is the same as what we actually have through there, and we're getting that from where we actually are. So one of the things we have to do this first turn is we've only got 12 action points to spend, and so we're going to need to spend those wisely. Part of that will be supplementing what we do in the council. There may be other things that we want to have a bit of a look at. Now, who was that enemy? Who was the enemy of the state? It's this guy here, and we can see there's a House Tacticus symbol there, and there's actually a House Huff. So this is somebody from House Huff. It is actually Baron Alton Huff, who is in charge of, if I hover over these things, we should sort of see, well, it's actually there. That's where it actually is. Kafalidma is where he's actually from. So if we click on that one, we can sort of see that they've got like a main settlement. They've got a barracks, so they have plus 20 military. If he rebels, he could become a bit of a problem. Solar array back in through this side. Let's have a look and see why he doesn't like us. And it's just personalities. He doesn't like us. It's negative 14 because he is probably individualistic. So he is intelligent. The fact that we're intelligent, he likes. The fact that we're cruel, he doesn't like, but not overly. But what he really can't stand, he's an individualistic character, and we're tribal. And so there's a real disconnect in through there. And similarly, we wouldn't really like him much because he's greedy. And so we would sort of probably reciprocate we would have a very low opinion of him as well. But anyway, that's his opinion of us. Now, that means that he could work against us. His reputation is poor, because he is greedy. Happiness, he's actually got, was taxed at a low level. Now, I can actually tax them at a high level, and it won't really impact too much other than their happiness. It won't impact what they think of us as such. So that's one of the actions we could actually then go and do. If I go across into House Tacticus, for example, we can do different actions from these, and one of those will be to set. Taxes can be either set to low, medium, or high. At the moment, they're on low. So your vassals will be taxed at 20% instead of 10%. This will modify your income by approximately +3. Now, we might as well do that because it's not going to actually impact. It'll impact their happiness, but not their respect to us. So we'll actually just go and do that one. That's 2 points. We've got 12 to spend. Bang, done. You raise taxes on the rulers of House Tacticus to medium. Let's have a look at the house itself, actually. Let's have a look at the house members. Now, you have a big, long list of different characters. These aren't all living with you, but these are members of your family and your extended family. So when we have a look at this one, if I go rulers only, we're not going to see anybody because this is just our family tree, but we can go to other family trees and sort of see things that are a little bit deeper. I'll just go back to normal mode in through this side. This can be useful screen at times, but if we go to show family tree, it will make much more sense. So when we come across the family tree, and this is everybody that we just saw in that list. So we can sort of see anyone that's a close relative. Here we are and through here. Close relatives will have a red blood drop. So these are all direct families back in through there. And we can see that we're married across to Duke Consort Aria Tacticus. She's 51, a little bit older than what we are. We're 45 in the game, and she doesn't have a lot of like for us. Yeah, so we might have to sort of deal with that a little bit. That's another thing we should actually try to do is get her more on side. And similarly, we should end up trying to get a strong relationship. One of the things with the game, actually, which is quite fascinating, is that these are all arranged marriages. And so quite often there's a bit of a grinding of the gears when you look at different characters. It just so happens when we look at the skill set that we have there with intelligence, tribal, and cruel, she has exactly the same skill set, which is quite funny. In fact, when we look at everybody in our family, I did look at this before, they've all got the same skill set. The only one that's different is our son, who is actually bisexual as well, but he's still got that same cruel, tribal, intelligent trait back in through there. And so this is our close family. And basically, because we all share these traits, they're all going to like us. If we click on this one, and you can see they're 92. So first of all, she's going to +50 because of the relationship, but also personality-wise, there's 14s all across the board there. So that's all very, very strong because we're all like-minded, essentially, including our wife, which is sort of rare in the game. So this is actually fairly cool. So I do want to get on the good side of her, even though we're both sort of aging now, I guess, in terms of the game. I don't know if I can have kids anymore. They may not be able to. But anyway, let's just go across to her. One of the things I will spend some more points on is to seduce her. So we'll go and click on her, actions, and so attempt to seduce Duke Consort Aria Tacticus. It doesn't cost me any points, but let's just get this one started. So this is one of the actions that we can actually then go and do. I can do other things, like I can assign her a different task. I can assassinate her or appoint her as being an heir, but that's going to then really sort of create a lot of problems in the empire if we do that. We can divorce her again for a loss of loss of respect across the board. We can execute her. It's so on and so forth. There's a lot of different things we can actually do here. The assassination is an attempt, I think. Anyway, we'll go and just attempt to seduce her. So let's just go and get her more on side and do that. And when we go back to look at what she does think of us pretty highly. So this should be fairly easy. That's an easy one for us to do. We can only do these sort of seduction things using the character that we're currently in control of. Now, when we have a look at our family as well, the Duke Heiress, Ellery Tacticus, is age 43. Now, she does have a daughter, so Selena Tacticus, so her husband must be dead at this stage. We don't get to see those sort of histories. I would love the histories to go further back in time so you can sort of bring these things up. I don't think we can show... You can show dead characters on here. They do appear, but in this case, this is before the history starts, so that we don't actually get to see that one. And so she's not married anymore. And we do actually have a niece down through here, age 20. So we've got an opportunity here to actually marry those two off. And we also have our own daughter, age 27. So these are just mistresses. So Selena Tacticus, Mistress Sylvian Tacticus. So you can sort of see a little bit of the way things work. It's like she is just Danica Tacticus. She's not all that important in terms of politics. We are Duke Das Tacticus. Our wife is Duke Consort Aria Tacticus. And so it's not Duchess as such. She is a consort. This is why the game actually does end up with a lot of relationships between different people because of this arranged marriage type situation. It sort of leads to quite loose morals, unless you're found out. So it creates a lot of secrets, which is Again, a fun way to sort of look at the game as in terms of it being a story. Now, she is, see, Duke Heiress, so she's fairly high up. In terms of the actual ranking, it's us followed by her. So that's sort of how it then works. And then from that point forward, you can sort of see with the little bars, like 3 bars, 2 bars. She's got 2 bars there as well, 2 in through this side. And she's the least important, Selena Tacticus, in this instance. But if we die and she inherits, then she becomes very, very important at that point. So we've set the game up to be whatever the closest relative is that you actually have. And so in this case, Mistress Sylvian Tacticus is also not married. She's 27. We should really be trying to marry them off. And so I've only got 10 points left. Now, I can either appoint council members or try to get a good match for these. Now, if I go to Mistress Sylvan Tacticus, now she's 27, so we need her to have children. So we're going to have to go to actions. Oops, hang on. Vendors in it must be completed. Sorry, I've got stuff back out in through here. Yep. So we'll just focus on that one. Anyway, we know the family. Let's just have a quick look in there again. Show the family tree again. So we'll just do it this way. Oh, by the way, we should have a look at this one as well. So our wife comes from, this is her side of the family. And so she also only has a mother-in-law, like she's got a mother but no father. We're the same, our fathers have died. The mother in through here, they're from a completely different area of the map. And so they're from an unknown league, and they're from a faction called the Bullock Planets. And so this is from a far-flung reach of space. And so she's sort of come into our lives from miles away from where we are. Now, if I pull back, this is why we see the Bullock Planets back over here, because our wife comes from there. So that she's travelled across the galaxy to then come and join in this particular faction. So again, it's just interesting the way the game sort of sets these things up. Let's just go back into our family tree again. So we're seeing that as part of her family tree. So her family tree is extended in through here, and these are considered to be fairly close contacts, but in reality, they're so far away, they're going to be absolutely pointless. And by the time she dies off, or sort of out of the picture, then really we're not going to be closely aligned with this side of the family at all, and they're just the distance, the tyranny of distance is really the problem that we're going to have from that side. So Selena, let's go into Sylvia, Sylvain is so Mistress Sylvain Tacticus. Let's try to get her married. We could also do it with our niece Selena Tacticus as well. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that we get people to come into our house and not marry them off to people who will be further away. So let's just go into the actions. We will, and yes, you can plot to seduce your own children, your parents and stuff like that. I think that there's negatives when you do that. I haven't tried it in the game, to be honest. I'm not going to, so don't worry about that aspect. But we can arrange a marriage for 5 of the action points. So I need to get one of these marriages away. So let's just go and act on this one here. Now, if we just go back out and just go back, these are the people that have come up through this one. So we've got it tends to go from the highest ranking people down from that point. So who would you like to match your daughter with? So we have Master Mohan Hickman would join your house. So he's actually not, they're similarly matched. Like you can see there, he's got 2 bars. These are, Master Mohan Hickman would join our household. But in this case, this would be to marry a Baron heir. So these outrank our daughter. So Mistress is lower than a Baron heir. And so she would move away from our house to then go and join the other house. And we don't want that. We want to build up our house. So we need to get people moving in. So we're not going to send them off to the different baronies. This one is from the neighbouring territory above us. I don't know if we can sort of have a look at that one. It's there from up in here. So he's up in there somewhere. In fact, if I hover over them, they should actually highlight on the map. He's coming from this area. So he's actually, looks like he's the son. He's only 19, so he's a bit younger. But he looks to be the son of one of the Hickmans. So if we actually go and click on his name, he will then come up in through here. And we can have a look at his family as well. So his mother is Archon Belva Hickman, who is actually in control of this area of space. And so she's our closest neighbour. That would be a really good match. A really good match. And you can see there when I hover over this one, they may accept if we ask politely, and they may accept if we threaten. Either one of the two. But we want to be on friendly terms here, because this is actually an area that we don't want to be upsetting the apple cart, because this is probably our weakest point here when we've got someone so strong right on our doorstep. So if we go and marry into the house, what's he got? He's got all positives as well. Like, he's actually very, very good. He's friendly, he is honourable, and he is satisfied. None of those things are going to bother the negatives that we have with being cruel. So that's actually a pretty good match by the looks of things. He is a bit younger, but that really won't matter. And this way we can also then have more children coming through. He's probably like a younger son, I would guess. If we have a look at his, we could look at his family tree, for example, to sort of see what we know of this, which we don't know much. Well, he's the oldest. That's interesting. Yeah, okay, it must be the youngest that inherit. And so the 11-year-old is actually the heir. And so he's actually sort of been shuffled back outwards away from everything. But I think he's a good mix. He's a good match. So let's go and click on him. So will you request to make a demand? So we're going to ask politely. Now, if we do make a demand, we threaten to declare war. Now, if they don't accept, we will declare war. Basically, war is declared, and then we've got to then sort of fight things out. So we definitely don't want to do that one. And also, this has got moral consequences, which everyone will then think less of us. And so there's 4 moral consequences of like a basic directive of do not go to war, and another 2 of do not go to war against leagues. And so it's not so much showing this is our reputation at stake if we did it that way. But we can ask politely. So your daughter and Master Mohan Hickman will be married and will live in House Tacticus. So they'll come and live with us because she slightly outweighs or outranks. Like, I think if we have a look, actually, I might just. I've got to now make this, but we'll do it, and I'll just sort of show you what's going on here. So Archon Belva Hickman wants your vassalage for marriage between Mistress Sylvain Tacticus and Master Mohan Hickman. So she wants us to become a vassal to them. That is potentially a problem. Not that it doesn't really matter that much, except we then have to pay tax to them. But we then become part of a much bigger enterprise. And I don't like that one, so I'm going to refuse this. So she's actually come back with a she wants us to actually come onto her side. Now, why does she want that? I wonder. If we have a look at her, like what's going on in her mind? She is satisfied, so she's not really not focused on material gain. Claims. She has a weak claim on House Tacticus and on the colonies. Yeah, she's got a claim basically on our area. So, but anyway, that's not something that we're going to do. So we're going to refuse the exchange. That's cost us 5 points here. So that makes us a little bit unhappy with her. Request for marriage between Mistress Sylvain Tacticus and Master Mohan Hickman has made us -9 happiness. You refused the counter request, so that's a problem. That will now start to set up a bit of a negative between us. So the Hickman union and the Tacticus House Tacticus will sort of start to now that what should have been a cementing of a relationship will now become more negative, and we've only got 5 left. So what do we want to do with this? These are the different things that the game is suggesting that we actually have. Okay, so we've got a couple of things in truth there. We've got keep an eye on the following vassals who do not like you. So Baron Alton Huff, we do have to look after him. I can't do much about him just yet. He really dislikes us. We've seen that before. And we also then have another Baron, Zelig Harden. So he is, where is he? Yeah, he's down in here. And he also doesn't like us. He's charming though, and proud. All right, so we have to be careful of those two. Your current income could support a larger house, so we could actually go and grab more people for the house, not more vassals, but more actual. That's why I wanted to get the marriages done. I might even go back and do another one of those. We don't have council members in all of these different areas. This is actually important. I can get 2 of those with the remaining if I wanted to, but I was wanting to get one of these married off. You can see there we've got our mother, Tacticus is not married. The Duke Heiress, Ellery Tacticus, is not married. Mistress Sylvain, that's who we tried to marry off. And then we've got Selena Tacticus as well, who is probably the least, at the moment, the sort of like the easiest one to marry off in terms of, we could sort of go to somebody who's not actually a noble. That would cost us everything else. We also have someone that we need to, like one of our kids needs to sort of be given a guardian if we can do that, or we've also then got following members don't have any assignments. Now we need action points to do all this. I think we might try to get one more marriage and then we can sort of go from there. So let's just go across as I click on each one of these. So we don't want our mother to do it. She's too old really to have kids now, so at 43 that's going to be diminishing returns, so let's not get her married off. Our daughter, we tried once with her. Let's try one more time with her, arrange a marriage. That way we sort of keep it a bit closer to where we are. Now, again, I'm not going to ask that one again. So now we don't want her moving out. She is she's very good at administration and actually security as well. So then we have like low nobles. We've got Demetrius Grant in through here. He's 54, a bit too old. What else have we got? We've got Dugan Bauer, 27, so about the same age. She's 27 as well. He's got a few negatives though with what he does do, and he's tribal, which is good, but he's reserved and also a rule breaker, but does have good administration skills. He would do in a pinch. We have Lowell Spence, who is also a reserved character, but is forgiving. So he would be okay. Doesn't have great skill sets. And a couple more. We've got Bud Manta. These are all within our empire, with like they're sort of with others. Now this one has got friendly and loyal, so that's actually a good thing, and actually very, very good diplomacy. He's 23, so a little bit younger, but nothing too bad. Now he would not refuse this at all. I can't see him refusing it. He's got nothing to gain. He's actually not even a noble. So we can have a look at his family tree, for example, and we can see his mother and father is okay. The lady is in charge here, and so she is the Baroness essentially. So he is just a he's not even like actually is she the Baroness? I don't think she is. She's just showing the 3 there. Let's have a look and see. House Marta. Yeah, no, she is. So Lady Serid Marta is the Baroness, age 42. So I think we'll ask them for her son to come and join us. So he'll then move across into our house, and I do like his diplomacy score. That's looking very, very good. So we ask. So yep, there's no ifs or buts about that one. So Mistress Sylvan Tacticus is now married to Bud Tacticus. Great. So he now inherits our name. We sort of inherit him in. He doesn't like us. Just looking at that one there. Anyway, they're both happy because they both got married. And so, yeah, 52 happiness there and 52 happiness there. So this is sort of working out okay. But we've now brought someone in who doesn't really like us all that much. Yeah, -1 actions towards... we raise the taxes. Okay, so Alton Huff. Was he from the Huff family originally? No, he was up in here. Okay, so he's... actually, no, that's... I'm looking at the wrong place here. Yeah, okay, she's from here, which is our problem planet. Okay, no, she's actually... If we look at her family... So Bud Tacticus is her son, who is now married into the dukedom, and or loosely anyway. And we can sort of see there daughter-in-law, mother-in-law, etc., etc. Now, she's got a son there. What about... She's got distant relatives all over the place. Nothing really sort of we're seeing through that one there. If we just go to this location. So she... I don't know what the relationship is that she has with this group. No, they're unrelated. But anyway, that's okay. So we've got... is now married. That's okay. A feast is being held to celebrate the marriage between your daughter and your son-in-law. Great. And lost in the sauce. Your wife has knocked back glass after glass at the feast. Speech slurring. She totters away to find the bathroom and yet another drink. That's not good. So she's she changes to respect, couldn't hold her drink. This is actually, it makes her happier, but at the expense of her reputation. So not good. That's not something we would like. So anyway, that's the outcome of what's actually happened there with that particular one. We've got no more points to spend, and I haven't got anyone still on the council, so we'll have to do that one next turn. But at least we've got a marriage now. We've got another character we can now sort of add in. So if we do have a quick look at this and go to our household, in fact, if we go to the Tacticus, we'll now see that there he is there. Bud Tacticus is now, our son-in-law, has now come in and has got very, very good diplomacy skills. So it's going to round out, or it's going to be everything, in fact. Our wife also has good skills in through here, the Duke Consort. But I think that Bud here has got to be the guy, doesn't he, really? We've got to give him those sort of roles. Anyway, we can't do anything now, so what I'll do is, I'm just looking at the time, actually. It's sort of pretty much the end. Actually, let's just end so you can sort of see what happens with a turn. So we've set up all of our decisions for the next 6 months. We then end our turn, which we'll do now. The game then plays out, and we're seeing a whole lot of different events now that have come through with the previous 6 months, and then we get to choose things. So Duke Consort Aria Tacticus is a good woman. It may not have been what I expected when we got married, but Duke Consort Aria Tacticus has been an attentive wife, and I've come to care for her deeply. It's good to have her by my side. So they're falling in love, essentially, even though it was like an arranged marriage. So this is all good, and she's happy with this. Just click on OK. Your wife is in love with you. This is good. It makes us even more happy. This, which all helps. So Archon Belva Hickman, the problem, wants marriage between Duke Heiress Ellery Tacticus and Loevi Hickman. Now he's 60 and she's 43, so they're both too old really to have children. What would you ask in return? If you accept your sister and Loevi Hickman, now he is good as well. He's got some good skills there. Look at his diplomacy skills, 99. Wow. Okay, and they will live at House Tacticus, so they'll come across to our house. We've got a lot of members we can actually have come in. So this would actually work in fairly well. So I can ask for different sorts of things. Like I can sort of go and say, okay, well, Duke Heiress Ellery Tacticus is in line of succession to House Tacticus. I don't mind this because in reality she'll rule, but he'll just be a Duke Consort essentially once this actually does happen. But it does cement this relationship, which is actually good. When I saw her come up, I thought, oh no, what does she want now? We can accept without asking anything in return, which would be safe. We can refuse this and cause even more problems, which we don't want to be doing. We can actually start to sort of move some other things around as well. So guardianship of Archon Heir Elliot Hickman. Now, she may not accept if we ask for this one. So ask for the guardianship. Now, what this does is essentially they send, like the Archon Heir Elliot Hickman is only a small child. And so he would then come and live at Capella with us, and he essentially becomes like a hostage. So it stops them from attacking. I don't feel the threat is that great that I would even ask this one. I'm happy enough to allow this to happen. It's not going to cost me any actual points. I can ask for some money. There's not very much there we can actually ask for, so I won't bother with that one. Submission. So ask for submission in return for marriage. So the systems of the Hickman Union will become owned by us, which they're not going to accept, of course. And actually, they will not accept that one either, by the way. And her vassalage as well, which we could actually have her as a vassal for us, which is not going to happen. So in this case, yep, not a problem. That sounds like a good solution to cement the relationship between the two houses. There we are. So they're both happy with that. That's good. Click on OK. And we have a slight relationship with that one now. So Ben and Grant wants marriage between Danica Tacticus and Demetrius Grant. Now, Danica is our mother, and Demetrius Grant is actually 55 as well. They're about, she's 61, about the same age. So if you accept, your mother and Demetrius Grant will be married and will live in House Tacticus. Now, what's he got? This is Sir Ben and Grant. That's the guy asking. Demetrius Grant must be his father. If I click on that, we can then have a bit of a look to see. So now he is proud and dull. But it would again cement a relationship with our with one of our houses underneath here. So the Grant house we saw was a bit of a problem. If we go and have a look at his family, for example, his son is Sir Ben Grant. We're not getting any. There's no There's no rulers in here. So Ben and Grant is his son. Now, yeah, they're not nobles. I'm going to refuse this request. There's nothing, unless he really has. Demetrius Grant in through here. Again, he's got diplomacy. We've got diplomacy covered, so we'll refuse that request. Okay, so that makes him a little bit unhappy, but so be it. That's not a problem. Now he is at House Grant. I'm not sure where that actually is located. It could even be inside Capella. That could be sort of someone that tries to take over from us at some point. Anyway, we won't allow that to happen. So Lady Hadia Bauer wants marriage between Selena Tacticus and Dugan Bauer. Now, Dugan Bauer, we saw there before, is 27. Now, she's only 20. So Dugan Bauer, now he has also got some negatives. What does he actually have, though? Again, he's got some administration. He's got some technical skills there as well at the back end. He's disliked overall. Will be married and live in House Tacticus. So she is in the line of succession to House Tacticus, but very, very far down at this stage. But she won't be if her mother takes over. Look, I might accept just so we can start to get some children. Even though he's got a few negatives. If we have a look at him, for example, Dugan Bauer, he has got reserved, so he has like a plus 20 to technology, but negative 20 to diplomacy. I don't mind that, to be honest. And also, he's a rule breaker. Again, plus 20 to security, minus 20 to diplomacy. So this could be interesting, having these sort of characters in. So let's accept the request. Done. So they're now married. They're both happy with that relationship. So they're both actually tribal as well. So that actually sort of works out okay. And they're now loosely related to us as well. And this is all within the Capella system. Your niece is now pregnant as well. So these are all the things that are happening in between the actual turns. So she's already fallen pregnant as soon as they got married. And Duke Heiress Ellery Tacticus approaches you with an opportunity. An old friend of mine, a landless noble, wants to retire from mercenary work. Would benefit from that hard-won battle experience and those rumours of torture. I'm sure they're exaggerated. So here we go. We've got this is Duke Heiress. So this is an old friend. Now she's good at military. So she's got like a landless noble. So we can use those talents. Now we don't know who this is that's actually approached. Let's just bring them in. So we can use those talents. Again, we're trying to get our household up. So we'll go and do that. So Sydney Valencia joins House Tacticus. Now, Sydney Valencia is 44 years old, has extremely good military skills. There we go. He's also cruel, he's tribal, he's brave, and he's charming. Great mix. Okay, this is good stuff for us. So this is looking great, and he likes us a lot. Okay, so as you secure the House Tacticus pin, he locks eyes with you and grins like a wolf. This, I swear, sire, will be with me at your side. Your foes shall burn, and I think they will. He's very, very good with that. We'll click on OK. He's going to take over some of the... Look, we've got a few really good council members here. I'm glad that we did actually hold back. Duke Heiress Ellery Tacticus welcomes Baron Carlton Bolton to Capella. So we've got like visitors coming through. So the Baron over through here from Churchland, who we actually get on well with, is visiting. So this is actually good. This is good for the relations back and through here. Or now you're close, price some secrets. So we can do things there where we sort of put our heiress under a bit of pressure to try to sort of get some information. But really, I think it's just good to keep on cementing these opinions. So we get a plus 11 from our heiress. We have a plus 4 from the Baron, and so it's just good all the way around. This one here causes a little bit of a problem, and I don't need to be looking at that. So I'm happy enough to just go along with that one. And now we start our turn. So all of those things happened in the interim. We now have our next turn coming up. So we're now in late 2500, and we'll do that in the next episode. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you then.